Hello, my name is Jubal, and today I want to talk about uh, is the job market this bad now? So I'll take a dive in. So here we go. You know, I've been hearing about college students, high school students, or maybe, if rare, middle school students are having trouble with getting a job. And I was hearing that the job market is terrible, you know. And I never understood why the job market is terrible because, growing up, you said when you go to 18, you could just walk in the place and apply a job, and the next day or a few hours or so, you'll get a job, like an interview. But I was hearing that people were applying to almost 100 to 300 type of applications to find a job at least. And they received nothing, not hired or anything. And people have their own reasons. I'm 18, like I said, I turned 18 this year. And, my parents pressured me about getting a job or whatnot, to support yourself financially. And I was saying it, a part-time job is cool, for the heck of it. But I was hearing they're not paying you the right amount of pay, even the entry-level jobs you're trying to get, unless you go to the two main things, either go to trade or another escapism, that people make a lot of money, is doing very well, is social media. That's how bad the job market it is. That where people are making money online more than in real life. And I think it's a sad reality. But hey, that's how bad the job market. Like I said, I never had a job until now. I know some people had jobs since middle school, or even worse, probably when they were kids, And the ones I'm speaking about, the immigrants, where the kids grew up helping their parents with their jobs because, have the literacy capabilities, to do it. And I understand, some of them ain't trying to get a job in high school. Apparently it's really tough to, like before my summer vacation, there was this girl in my music class, talking about how she wanted a job, whatever. She signed up to this program which helps the kids who needed jobs or whatever. And she did that, and guess what? Now she feels like shit. Why? Because of the coworkers and the boss. And they always say it's always about the balance. This is about getting the right jobs at the right place at the right time. Yeah, true. But now with today's economy and this times, everything's turning to shit. And like I said, the girl was terrible. She said, she was explaining her story, about how the boss treated her like shit, all that. And now, I think she still has a job to this day. But I think she quit it by now. I don't know. But anyway, you see my point? And now they're calling the gym The CEO, I don't know why they still use that generation as their blaming victims or whatnot about how they don't want to work. Well, if you look at the charts and stuff, we wouldn't be unemployed all the time. You know? I understand we need a job. I understand we need to work to live. You see the point? We need to work to live, not live to work, and that's the problem with, sorry to say it, but with North America. You are born to live to work, and that's why, I don't know if you guys or anybody heard, they started bringing back the child labor, because that's how bad the economy is. Now they're asking 12-year-olds to almost 15-year-olds around those age year gap to help them come in and do jobs. But shit, when I was growing up, I don't remember all of that. I don't remember like trying to get a job at 12 because my family was that poor and they're on welfare checks. Yeah. And speaking about that, I was hearing that job courts has now been removed. And I don't know what to say about it. Not because I'm shocked or whatever. But I never experienced it because I know there's some people who are at their lowest point in life or whatnot. That went there and they got a career afterwards. And I applaud for those people who did before now they got removed. But you see, I know our biggest ifs in today's time is make the wages go up. But they got smart. The owners, they have all this money, but they don't want to be paying you to raise the wage in the government because they want to print money. If they don't, then they lose the money. I'm not siding with them or anywhere, but it is what it is, And right now people are rebelling because of all that, with the deportation, the job market, the housing market, the fucking food market. Like, all those 4 things are now coming into effect. So, there's no way. There's no way how could people survive. But like I said, there's only 2 options people turn in. Could turn 2. Or 3, actually. My bad. Military, trade, and online. Those 3 things are gonna pay you very well. And it's proven it does. And speaking about YouTube, I want to speak about how YouTube went from doing, what's it called? Dumb shit with your friends. Back then when YouTube was starting in the mid-2000s, or people like to refer to as old YouTube. Back then with old YouTube, like I said, you did dumb shit with your friends. There was no sponsor, there was no brand deals or nothing. It was just doing dumb shit with your friends, and if you get views, cool. That means everybody saw that shit. They commented like, "Hey man, that video was hilarious." Like, I wish I could do that shit. As years went by, other companies started to try to do a business move We're like, oh shit, everybody's like in this blog type of website. Why not we put brand deals, for YouTubers who work there, online or on the internet, they get paid. When you think about it, back then when you first hear that, you're like, hell yeah, you're gonna get paid and shit. But on the long run, look what's happening. What I'm hearing, we got a kid named Jack. I don't know how the fuck he made all that money, Either he had to lie his way to get those brand deals or whatnot. But he got a house at 14 years old. Like, what the what? I don't remember when I was 14. I don't remember owning a home. Shit. That's anybody's dream to own a private home. I'm not speaking about the community homes. I'm speaking about those private homes where you could live on your own. Like that. Well, like I said, during the middle of the years when sponsors were barely coming, but like I said, nobody treated it as a job now. Now they treat it as a fucking, hobby. But it came with the price. And the price is, now when they first make a video, they're thinking about, will it go viral? Will it go fucking, will I get a brand deal? And also there was another second app that was coming in that was doing the same shit, but it got popular in today's time and people are taking advantage of it. It's called Twitch. I know people have mixed opinions about Twitch, about being considered a job. I know there's still debates. Is having an internet job harder than having a physical job? And the answer is mixed. But in my opinion, if you want to hear it from me or anybody else, they'll give you the same answer. A physical job is harder than having an internet job. Yes, I do understand you have what's it called, burnout issues with when it comes to having an internet job, and I do understand it. It's hard, but like I said, a physical job is way harder. But you see the point, right? The point I was trying to make is now people are now going to have an internet job because it gets you paid well more than the physical jobs before, So shit like that, it happened. With Twitch too. What if you do Twitch for how many hours you think you could do? Or 1 hour. It could get you paid well. So it is what it is, So yeah, that's it for the video. My name is Jubo. See ya.